So the arena in front of us, former Moorish style, and it was left the original facade from 1900s up to 2 meters. You can see it's been sustained by those red pillars, and underneath we built a subterranean garage together with some supermarket, special shops in the inside, clothing, shoes, anything you need. And if you don't need anything, then you can go to the terraces, have some tapas and some drinks, and see the views from Plaza de España surrounding areas. Precisely here tonight, Friday, and also Saturday night, if you don't see it tonight, because you're busy tonight, I think, right? You have the welfare dinner. Well, if not tonight, you come tomorrow night to this area, Plaza de España, and you'll be able to see a great show, a combination of water games, laser lights, and music all together. When it gets dark, around 9 o'clock starts the show, 9:30, 10, 10:30, 11, 11:30, the last one. So water games going upstairs, downstairs, around 20 meters above the street level. The water games are going all the time according to the musical notes, and not only changes the water games, also the colors being used, and the music for sure. We have all kind of music, opera, we have also pop, we have some film tracks, soundtracks, and so on. And especially the song so-called Barcelona, that was composed by Freddie Mercury, and he was supposed to sing it with Montserrat Caballé, a great opera singer from this area. But at the end he passed away before the opening ceremony, so it was only Montserrat Caballé who performed it. So Plaza de España is in front of us, and you will see this beautiful atmosphere, neoclassical atmosphere from 1929. At that point, 1929, we had here the second warfare from our history. We had the first one in 1888, and the second one 1929. So 3 different sites in this fountain, allegories, classical atmosphere, allegories to the 3 seas surrounding us. In the north we have the Cantabric Sea, in the west the Atlantic Ocean, and in the east the Mediterranean. So right now you can see here the Fairground Institution, both sides, left and right. You can see different palaces, neoclassical atmosphere. And then you can find as well these beautiful bell towers, reminding us the one in Venice, Piazza San Marco. But here we have we find 2 now. Instead of 1, we have 2. Then we'll find in a very short time in front of us a big museum, the National Art Museum of Catalonia. Into 2 floors we find a great collection of art from all ages, especially Middle Ages and till recent times. Basically, we can find in the 2nd floor even some furniture designed by Gaudí. So 13 pavilions left and right, and also the scenery for the fountain show tonight or tomorrow night, as you decide to come here. You have different options today and tomorrow night. Those 4 pillars in front of us at the feet of the Grand National Museum, the National Art Gallery from this region. You can find this reference to the 4 red bars from the Catalan flag. Later on in the Old Town we'll see, especially in the institution buildings like the City Town Hall or the Government's Palace, you'll find that red and yellow bars, typically from the Catalan flag. But here we find only the reference to the red bars, the 4 red bars in the Catalan flag. Next to, you can see the Artichoke, where the main show is happening tonight and tomorrow night, right here next to the steps. Right. So Plaza de España is where you have to come tomorrow night, okay, for the show. When it gets started around 9 o'clock in the evening. Surrounding this area we find lots of museums, but some of them perhaps because they are free, for instance, could be more interesting than some others, right? So the Contemporary Art Museum, Caixa Forum, on the right hand side now, former factory building, textiles factory building. You will easily recognize, because of the blue star, yellow point, red point, the symbol, the logo from Jean Miro for that special savings bag. So inside you have photography, sculptures, paintings, exhibits throughout all the year. Then on the left hand side you will find the Spanish Pavilion from 1929. Remember that in every great warfare. Every country brings a pavilion, and in that pavilion, in the inside, we're presenting perhaps technology, perhaps cultural background. It depends. Each country decides what to bring into every single warfare. So Spain in 1929 thought about exporting, culture, architecture mostly, but also gastronomy. So restaurants from different regions were offering the typical specialities in the buildings that were replicas from original buildings that we can find everywhere in this country. So the entrance on the left-hand side are like the walls from Avila. Avila is not far from Madrid, but we also find buildings that are reminding us Andalusia in the south. You've been in Malaga, I guess, Granada, Sevilla, Cordova. So all these buildings from these regions and these different cities are a reunion and replicas of those buildings are in that reunion within this pavilion, Spanish pavilion. Getting closer now, we are getting closer to the Olympics from 1992, and the first building we'll see will be the sports faculty, the National Institute for Physical Education of Catalonia, designed by Ricardo Bofill, very famous architect for this country. And soon we'll find as well a communications tower from a great architect. I'm sure you've heard about him, Santiago Calatrava. Calatrava worked in Seville, worked in Valencia, and now that you're in Barcelona, you hear again Calatrava because he worked here for the Olympics, 1992 games. The Olympic torch was similar to this sort of antenna communications tower designed by Calatrava for the cellular phones and the radio stations. You'll find it on the right hand side next. After this Faculty of Sports, National Institute for Physical Education, and Classical Atmosphere, you'll find Calatrava Tower in white color. But on the left hand side, above Tibidabo Mountain, you can see another antenna. You can see this one was designed by Norman Foster, British engineer, and for the Olympics as well, 1992 games. So the Olympic Stadium is coming soon. There's where we had the opening and closure ceremonies of the games. It holds a capacity for 55,000 visitors. It's not the biggest stadium for Barcelona. We have FC Barcelona Soccer Stadium that holds a capacity for 120,000. Right here we find some swimming pools and also some botanical gardens from 1929, and finally the stadium in front of us coming soon, the Olympic Stadium. So basically the Olympic Stadium is right here. The outside is from 1929. This facade is still like the first time it was opened. At that point we had a capacity for only 20,000 visitors, but for the Olympics we renew it, we preserve the outside look, and then we increase the capacity up to 55,000. It's a track and field stadium, but we can play other sports here, like soccer. We had recently the junior championship of athletics, and we are celebrating concerts from time to time. I don't know, singing here last June. So we rent this stadium for different purposes, mostly sports, but also some leisure events. So little by little, we'll get close to the Sports Museum and Olympics Museum. It's on the right hand side. Montjuic is full of museums. We have here the National Art Museum, we could see it, the Sports Museum, but we'll find Miro Foundation and the Cartographics Museum, the Ethnological Museum, the Archaeological Museum, lots of them. And the Royal Palace, the royal residence of the royal family here in Barcelona, is precisely here, behind these gardens on the left hand side, while on the right you have the Museum of Sports on the right hand side. Left hand side the Royal Palace, and then also in the same left hand side section we'll find Laribal Gardens. Laribal Gardens were designed according to Generalife Gardens from Granada. The one who designed these Laribal Gardens was Le Forestier. He was a disciple of Baron Haussmann, the one who designed the extension project of modern Paris nowadays. So Laribal Gardens are having views, of course not from Granada, because we're in Barcelona, but approximately the same idea: Mediterranean plants, trees, orange trees, jasmine bushes. Granada has been planted here too, and we have also very good views from Laribal Gardens on the left-hand side next to Joan Miró. Joan Miró is a modern museum, therefore we have this contemporary flavor on the left-hand side, but at the same time we kept the Mediterranean white color from the houses. So this is Miró Foundation with an open doors work near the entrance, looking like E.T., right? You can see it's a character, that's the name that he gave it to this sculpture, bronze sculpture. So in order to see Miró, you have to come to Montjuic here. And how to get to here? Well, basically Southway drops you in Parallel station, then you need to get another funicular train to end up here and then walk a little bit till Miró Foundation. My advice is, if you arrange about 4 of you can share the same taxi ride, and they are really affordable taxis here in Barcelona for short distances. The subway ticket is €2 already, so if you multiply per 4, €2, that gives you a budget of how many euros? 2 per 4? 8, that's right. With €8 from your hotel, you can come practically till Plaza España, right? Or you can go to Park Güell, or you can go to Sagrada Familia. I mean, it's budget enough to move all around the city center, skipping the subway lines, the heat in the inside of the tubes, and sometimes the subway is really packed, and we have also pickpockets. We don't have to forget about this. Barcelona is not different from London, Paris, Rome. We have a lot of pickpockets in the subway as well. So get the chance to drive around the city in comfort with taxis. We'll stop in a very short time. You'll have some fresh air to see and admire Barcelona in this late summer day. Late summer day. So we're going to stop in a very short time.
Don't worry, I will give you.
And then you will get some great views from Barcelona. We'll stop in Miramar Gardens, next to Hotel Miramar. Miramar means facing the sea.
Entramos en el Hotel Miramar, allá. ¿Entramos ahí? Sí, sí, bajaremos allá.
So that will be the first time we are using the Whisper in Barcelona, right? Let's see if everything works fine. I'll be whispering you some information, but mostly this stop is for you to get some views and then some nice photographs. We'll be back in the bus in about 15 minutes time. Now is the time to get some photo shooting and then come back. So now please follow me. Ready if somebody gets lost. 3:30 back in the bus. Okay, now it's 3:15.